Hi there, welcome back to another Mercury tutorial. In this tutorial we will have a look at how we can use lists to create melodies for the synthesizer, and also we will have a look at how we can apply a scale to the numbers that we choose. So let's get started by typing a new synthesizer and giving it a single note. Now I think I want to play this a bit faster already, so I'll set the time at 1/8. Let's have a listen. Alright, so in the previous video we've seen that we can create lists, and these lists can contain any value that we want. So instead of making a list for a rhythm, what we've done in the previous video, we can also create a list for a melody. So on the new line I will type list, I will give the list a name, for example melody, and then I will use opening and closing brackets to denote that this will be a list. And in there I will type some values, for example 0, 4, 7, 12. So the numbers that we typed in correspond with the semitone offset on the piano keyboard. So if we go to a piano keyboard, then the 0 would be the C, and the 4 would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that would be an E, and then the 7 would be 5, 6, 7, that would be a G, and the 12 would be an octave up. So that would be a C again. So now we can replace the 0 in the note function for the word melody. And we can also change the octave offset so we can hear it a bit better. So I will put the octave at 1. Let's listen how this sounds. Alright. So we can add different values if we like, so we can go down to, I don't know, a 9 and maybe another 4 and a 2. And then we can listen to how this sounds. Okay. Now it is also possible to change the octave offset with a list. So for example, I can make a list and call it octaves. And then maybe I'll alternate between a 0 and a 2 for every note that will be played. So let's listen how that sounds. So as you can hear, the octave is alternating between 0 and 2. But in the same time, it is also going through the list of notes above. So currently, for every number that we choose, we have to make sure that this number is in the scale that we would like to play. So for example, if I would just type in the numbers 0 to 12, we can listen to all these numbers, so every note on the keyboard is possible. So if you would like for the computer to make sure that every number that you choose will always be within a certain scale, we can just set a scale beforehand, and every number that fits the scale will be played as it is, and every number that doesn't fit the scale will be changed to a note that is close to it in the scale. So for example, if we have a look at this scale display, we can see that if we have the scale at chromatic C, which is the default in Mercury, every note is possible, so every input will be the same as the output. But if I decide to change the scale to, for example, a major scale, so let's have a look where that is. We can see that the major scale only contains the white keys. So this means that every input number will be the same for the white keys, but the black keys will be mapped to the closest note that is within the scale. So for example, the number 3 will actually be a number 2 because 2 is part of the major scale. If we choose a different scale, for example a Dorian scale, we can see these are the notes that are part of that scale. So we can see that now this E, the number 4, will actually become the number 3, etc. So if we go back to the code, we can change the scale in the same way that we change the tempo. So we can type set space scale space, and then we choose the name of the scale, for example, major. So when I hit play at this point, all these numbers will be played, but the numbers that are not part of the scale will be changed to a number that is part of the scale. So we will hear some notes be doubled. Let's try a different scale, for example, minor. So now we have the benefit that we can choose any number in any order that we like, and we can just pick something randomly. And if we hit play, all these numbers will either play if they are part of the scale, or they will be mapped to the closest note that is actually part of the scale. Now this scale is a global value for the entire code. So if we make extra instruments, for example another synth that will play a bass line, and we make a list for the bass line, then these numbers will also be mapped to that same scale. As you can see above, the scale is set to minor, but there's also a letter in front of it, and that is the root of the scale. In this case, this is the C, which means that if we change the root of the scale, we will offset every value. So if we change the root of C to, for example, E, we will see that the number 0 will be output as the number 4. So everything is offset by 4 semitones. So if you want to choose the root in the code, we can type this as a value behind the scale. So we can say set scale minor E. So to finish this video, I would like to add some rhythm to all the synthesizers based on the previous tutorial. So let's make a new list called rhythm and put in a few values, including some probabilities. And I'll add the rhythm to the synth with the play function. And I will make the octave of this first synth a bit higher so we can hear the difference between the bass sound and the higher notes quite well. I will also add a rhythm for the bass line, which I will call a bass rhythm. And also I will add this rhythm with the play function. Now let's add a bit of panning so we can hear them spread out in the stereo image. And I'll make the shape for the bass notes a bit longer so we can hear them clearly. While on the other end I'll make the shape for the melody a bit shorter. And let's hear how our final result sounds. Alright, that was it for this tutorial. I hope you will have some fun making music with these melodies, scales and synths. In the upcoming video I would like to have a closer look at how we can generate melodies and rhythms with functions instead of having to come up with the numbers ourselves. So I hope to see you around for that one. Bye!